Why is Houston so vulnerable to devastating floods? Parts of the Houston region have been harmed by more than 50 inches of rainfall since Hurricane Harvey made landfall, setting new records from the U.S. But why has the city become America's flood capital? In April 2016, historic flooding hit Houston, with 17.6 inches of rain dumped on the city in a single day. The flood came only 11 months after another massive storm struck the city, dropping over a foot of rain. Together, the two events caused 16 deaths and more than $1 billion in damages, both paid in comparison to Hurricane Harvey, the impact of which have rescued Houston's unenviable reputation as the U.S. city most severely affected by floods. Understanding why the risk to life and property is rising is crucial not only to the future of America's fourth-largest city, but to others around the world which share many of its problems. 1. Urban sprawl. Houston's unbridled rapid growth is a primary factor. The population of its metropolitan area is close to 6.8 million people, and with predictions of some of the country's fastest growth for the coming years, it is expected to top 10 million by 2040. Growth itself is not a problem, as it can create economic, social, and environmental benefits for cities. But poorly planned growth which fails to carefully manage and land use for housing, businesses, and the infrastructure like roads, parks, and sewers that cities need can create problems and even lead to disasters. Houston has long favored light touch control, which has led to haphazard development. The city now covers an enormous area of more than 1,500 square kilometers. It is the archetype of urban sprawl, where land is made readily accessible for real estate development on the city's ever-expanding periphery. 2. Loss of habitat. This unplanned growth has led to many problems. One is that vast areas of wetlands and prairie which soak up large amounts of rainfall have been paved over. Between 1992 and 2010, for example, White Oak Bayou in northwest Houston lost about 70% of its original wetlands. During heavy rain, the city's growing expanses of concrete generates runoff that clogs and sometimes overwhelm its complex network of waterways. This includes creeks and bayous, as well as those controls like levees and detention basins. Successful wetland and prairie land protection would not itself have a major effect in reducing flooding caused by unprecedented rainfall like that delivered by Harvey. Yet, protecting and restoring the natural areas provides an important contribution to make Houston less vulnerable to more moderate storms. They also bring environmental benefits, providing fish and wildlife habitats and cleaning polluted runoff that can sometimes enter from the city. The next reason is the artificially blue-colored areas show water detected before and after the storm. See how flood waters caused by Hurricane Harvey have covered low-lying areas. And Houston is known as a city for cars. Another problem is that investment in flood control infrastructure, things like channels, dams, and reservoirs, has failed to keep pace with the expansion of the city. Houston is a car-oriented city with multi-billion-dollar projects supporting one of the most advanced systems of roads and highways in the world. The goal is to keep traffic moving. The mismatch between spending on flood prevention and roads can bring new challenges, as fresh tarmac is late for motorists. One example is the partially completed State Highway 99. Once completed, this 290 kilometer near 180 miles, loop will the longest in the nation, encircling the Houston area. Further urban sprawl on the edge of the city will inevitably follow, and without careful planning, large new tracts of impervious concrete will be laid. The runoff generates can cause problems for residents when heavy rains arrive. For example, since the 1980s, rainfall has increased 26% in the Brace Bayou watershed, but runoff has increased by 204%. Another study suggests that an additional 3,500 households in the same Bayou watershed in the south of the city were exposed to flooding as a result of increasing runoff. What can be done? The tragedy wrought by Hurricane Harvey offers an opportunity to plan for the rebuilding of a more resilient city. The expansion of the city has led to short-term financial rewards for developers and builders, while local government has benefited from an expanded tax base. But they have not shared the risk presented by flooding, the costs of which are mostly passed on to residents and the national government. To survive on the Texas Gulf Coast in the coming century, the city and its surrounding region will have to make careful planning decisions to guide growth. Better coordination between federal, state, and local government bodies is surely needed. The city will also have to consider how it defends itself against storms, making huge investments in flood control infrastructure will be necessary if they are to keep pace with the rapid expansion of the population. Around the world, while Harvey offers a dramatic example, devastating storms are becoming more frequent and severe around the world. Rapid and poorly planned urbanization, rising sea levels, and subsidence but the world's coastal city at increased risk of flooding. One World Bank study forecasts that global flood damage for large coastal cities could cost $1 trillion a year by 2050 unless action is taken. There are cities that offer hints of what can be achieved both in the US and elsewhere. Faced with more coastal storms and rising sea levels on the Atlantic coast, Norfolk, Virginia has adopted long-term strategies for guiding future land use and development. For example, areas of low risk of flooding, where there has so far been limited development, will be transformed into high-density and mixed-income neighborhoods. In contrast, high-risk areas with established neighborhoods are to gradually retreat from shorelines with housing buyout, while key sewer and water utilities and roads will be maintained rather than expanded. Rotterdam in the Netherlands provides another model. 90% of the densely populated city lies below sea level. Its pioneering solution to flooding entails living with water rather than trying to contain it. It has installed underground garage, green roofs that absorb water, and water plazas that serve a kind of aquatic town square, while simultaneously acting as huge storage reservoirs when extreme rainfall occurs. From the Norfolk and Rotterdam perspective, flooding and climate change are not obstacles to economic development, but opportunities. About the space, this analysis piece was commissioned by the BBC from an expert working for an outside organization.